Reuben Kimani channel. It's good to see you back. I hope you are keeping warm in this cold Nairobi weather, and I hope you're also keeping peace. There's a lot of charged atmosphere because of elections that are in 9 or 10 days away, and I hope you are keeping peace with your brothers and your sisters. Today we are looking at the effect of elections. Basically, what do you think will happen after the elections where investment is concerned? We have been having conversations, especially in investors, with customers, even with friends, wondering, are we going to still have the stability that you have experienced over many years? We have been doing some research on that aspect, looking at all the past elections that has happened in this country, what happened before and what happened after. There are some things that you have been able to come up with where investment is concerned. So the key question today is, what do you think, or what should we expect after elections in the investment space? Of course, elections comes with chaos, instability and uncertainty, which in turn disrupts the economy. One of the things that the government was saying the other day, which I think is an allegation, there's a shortage of the 200 shillings note in the market because people are using it for political purposes, especially politicians. That's an allegation. These are some of the things that are happening. We also observed some level of slowdown, especially in our business as well, especially in the last 1 month. There are things that happened before elections which we are going to explain today. There's also investor flight, especially in the Nairobi Stock Exchange, which has been happening over the last, I think, 3 to 6 months, especially foreign investors. I talked to someone yesterday who is in the stocks investment space, and they were saying the market is being sustained by local investors. That tells you the amount of work that we do as Kenyans. If we believe in ourselves, we can actually hold any investment in this country, the big and the small. So what are these things that we expect of elections? I have 3 or 4 things I want to share. Of course, elections have direct impact on the economy. The number of business activities reduced significantly. If you look at the number of customers who come to invest with us, those who wanted to build their own homes, there are people who want to wait after 9th of August to be able to make their own decisions. There's also low investor confidence. This affects the capital inflow in the country. I've talked about now the stock exchange, the foreign investors, the direct investments coming into the country, they are also affected. Also the negative investor sentiment. There's a lot of negativity in the air comes with elections. If you're on this side, if you're on this side, and most people naturally will hold off doing new investments because of the fear it comes with. What if this person becomes the president? What if this other person, the policies that they are having? So there are several things that we expect to happen, especially if you are a survey investor. I'm going to list them very, very fast. We have implementation of key decisions. Most people will postpone the implementation of key decisions, especially in their lives where investment is concerned. Why do people do this? Of course, we expect the new government after 9th of August, maybe a month after the handover, to come up with new policies. We want to start a business, and then a policy kicks in and you have to change that business. A good example is in Nigeria. Given an example, there's a company that was doing manufacturing of vehicles, basically assembly. One day the government woke up and changed the tax charged on those vehicles. What happened? They had to close down that factory because what happened is that the policy encouraged more people to import second-hand vehicles. They made them so cheap. So if you sell your car like 5 million, guys are importing for less than 1 million shillings. So that killed that industry. So a serious business person will check what might happen after 9th of August. Number 2 is change of policy, change of priorities and focus in the government. You might be in a business in a sector which the government was focusing on. Give an example of manufacturing, for example. Maybe the current government was giving a lot of rebates, a lot of tax exemptions to the manufacturer, and then another government comes and changes that. That's just an example. We have fuel, we have many examples where the government changes its forecast. Maybe they'll not have big four anymore. They'll have something like big five or whatever forecast they'll have. Number three, of course, the slow economic input of affect the rate at which jobs are created. The slow economic output, the slowdown of businesses also affect how employment is created. It also affect how business decisions are made. Number two, what else do we expect immediately after elections? There are key government projects, infrastructure projects that are being done over the last 5 to 10 years. Big infrastructure project like the expressway, we have the SGR, many other huge infrastructure projects, road all over the country. These projects affect real estate sector in a big way because they affect where people want to build their own homes. Where do people want to build factories? Where do people want to invest? So it affects over in terms of mobility as well. This is very important. So what are these projects that we expect to be completed after elections? Of course, they will transform countries and the whole country at large. We're going to start with Nakuru City. There's the Nairobi-Nakuru Mau Summit Road. It will be one of the biggest dual carriage, actually the biggest in the country, that is expected to be done after the new government is sworn on. Of course, the work is ongoing. They have received 17.3 billion shillings to transform it into a 4-lane dual carriageway. This amount is not enough. This is the initial phases. I think we'll need more than that, maybe almost more than 50 billion shillings to be able to complete this project. This is important because it will ensure there are many investments between Nairobi and Nakuru. There's also dualing of the vital Thika-Garissa highway. It's a long road, and of course the work has started. According to the newspapers, this work is supposed to start in 3 months' time at a cost of 5.5 billion shillings. To decongest Thika town, we have many projects in that area as a company, and we believe this will transform the whole economic landscape of that locality. We also have Konza Technology City. This city is worth a whopping 1.5 trillion shillings. It has been christened Silicon Savannah in Machakos County, Kajiado, and Makueni counties. Of course, this city has been, over the last 5 years, they have been doing a lot of work. If you go to the ground, you'll be amazed. This will become an independent city, the way you have Nairobi, Mombasa, and Kisumu. Of course, it will be self-sustaining. There will be many installation and opportunities that you need to take advantage of. You have projects in that area as well. Number 4, we have the Nairobi-Mombasa Expressway. I think this will be one of the biggest projects in the country when it starts. Of course, work in terms of procurement and many feasibility, this has already been done. It will be a 473 kilometers of road between Nairobi. Of course, discussions are going about financing this project. I hope and believe and pray that they'll be able to execute and implement this project. What does it mean for Kenyans? Of course, one of the biggest factor of cost of goods and services is because of the cost of transport. If you do that road together with SGR, we should see a drop in terms of even the price of unga and cooking oil and all that kind of stuff. Most people are not able to relate. That cost of transport between Mombasa and Nairobi increases the cost of goods in this country. So this will be welcome news. The other thing that will happen, all the real estate in that corridor from Nairobi to Mombasa, of course, you'll appreciate it. There will be new opportunities to build factories, to build homes, to build universities. There will be new things, new development that will take place. Then the last one is Mai Mahiu Suswa Road. Most people have not heard about this. Of course, you have been having the construction, which is almost complete, if not 100%. Between Gong and Suswa, is a tarmac there. We have so many projects from Gong in that area, and people are building their own homes, which is very important. But you also have a dual carriage of sorts from Mai Mahiu to Suswa, basically because of the frequent and recurrent disruption rerouting of traffic during the rainy season. Is that crack that usually comes almost every year somewhere in Suswa and to diverse traffic, and that's what they are trying to address. The key reason is because you have so many tourists who are going to Masai Mara, especially this season, to go and see the wild beast migration. It is a worldwide spectacle, one of the 8 wonders of the world. So many tourists come to the country because of that. So that is one of the infrastructure projects we expect to be done after elections. Why are these infrastructure projects important? Once again, they affect where people live, where people place factory, where people go, the movement of people, new settlements, and many other things. So you'd like to know where they are happening so that you can invest there before they get there. Number 3, maybe to recap before most people forget this. Number 1, implementation of key projects have been postponed by most people, organizations, businesses, and including government agencies. Number 2, completion of projects that we expect to be done immediately after election. Number 3 is increased credit. We expect there are so many people who are not taking credit because they don't need the money to do projects. So what will happen after election? They will start taking this credit. You see the graph going up. If you get data from banks, you see so many people now waking up and saying, now I can be able to do my business. Let me borrow the money. There's also number 4, change in some policies. Of course, this is expected. Within a government, they have to change policies. I hope you have listened to manifestos of these key contenders of the presidency. You realize some of them are talking about manufacturing, others are talking about empowering small businesses and that kind of stuff. Assuming we get a president who is focused on manufacturing, it will also mean some taxes will be taken down, some of them will be removed, and other new measures. The people who like to start the business at that point when they are sure this is exactly what the government is going to implement and do. Number 5, we have inflation. I talked about the 200 shillings note not being found in the market because of politicians. There's also allegation of voter bribery and many other things which I cannot be able to verify, but this causes inflation. There are so many politicians in this country, in their thousands. Everyone is giving voters money and stuff like that. It is allegations. So this causes inflation because there's a lot of money from politicians getting into the economy. Coming from outside, I think you might have heard those stories. So immediately after election, this inflow will stop. No one will be giving you money as a voter anymore. So it means that inflation will go down. Number 6, they also expect economic growth. The instability of the election, the uncertainty that has been caused might end on 9th of August or weeks after because of contestation of elections in Kenya. After we have a new president, of course, there will be new stability. You'll find investors. If you look at 2014 and 2019, 2018, there was a lot of growth, economic growth, because now people are removing their money from their account. They are spending, they are buying land, they are building their own homes. There are people who are getting new jobs. The new government comes with a lot of energy and stuff like that. So we expect a lot of economic growth. As I conclude, those are some of the things that I have researched. There are many others you may be able to share down there. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. But before that, I would like to beseech all of you, my friends, the customers, my investors, Kenyans at large, to keep peace between each other, not to be abusive. Of course, we are Kenyans, all of us. We need this country. We need to develop it. We need to be our brother's keeper. We need to live in peace and stability. It affects all aspects of our life, our children, and everyone else. As someone said, this is the only country we have. Let us not fight. Let us maintain peace. Vote whoever you want, but do it in peace. Thank you so much. God bless you and have a nice afternoon.